As always, I get plagued with tech issues every other week, it seems. However, we're back, and hopefully people can hear us having a chat. So today I'm joined by Theo. Hello, Theo. How you doing?
I'm very well, very well. How are you, Warren?
Good, good.
For posterity.
So yeah, unfortunately we're gonna do this segment again. But how did you get involved with Umbraco?
Yeah. So it was about 10 years ago, and I started making websites with .NET, and I was looking around different CMSs. My first experience was with .NET Nuke, and then I moved and I tried a few others. And needless to say, I didn't find what I was looking for. It was a fairly ugly world, and
yeah, .NET Nuke was kind of very dictates to you what you should and shouldn't do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Anything, every single button, every single form field was a struggle, basically. And they eventually, what happened was that when it was time to when we created GrowCreate, and it was time to pick a main CRM, and that was about CMS, and that was about 5 years ago. I did another review of all the systems.
Yep.
And I remember that Umbraco was the one system that, despite the XSLT weirdness, let me do exactly what I wanted on the page.
No,
so
definitely.
Yeah. So I decided, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to learn that, XSLT or otherwise. I'm just going to learn this and get really good at it. So I did the training, the videos, the certification, the whole thing. Then we set up basically GrowCreate around it. We got really good at creating Umbraco websites. And I've never regretted it. It's
cool.
Great product, great community.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, like you said, you've been around for a while now, and that's awesome. Yeah, through the XSLT days to now, obviously, raising things like that.
Yeah.
But so today we're going to talk about Pipeline. So it's your Umbraco CRM package that you guys.
That's right. Yeah. So the idea for that really came on the back of a series of talks that I did last year, first in the UK festival and then in Code Garden, about selling Umbraco. Particularly a segment where I talked about comparing Umbraco with other CMSs, and even more particularly the big commercial CMSs like Sitecore. Now they go out there, and the message that they have is they kind of sell this big experience platform. If you like, they kind of talk a lot about marketing automation, and as a result, they don't just attract the IT directors and the head of techs that are the natural audience for us, but they can also talk much more easily to digital marketeers and head of communications, and these are important audiences that we need to get on our side. So eventually, on the back of that, we kind of thought, okay, what is it that these people need? They're talking about marketing automation. They talk about going beyond conversions, talking about conversations. They're talking about CRMs. And a lot of them, we've had a lot of requests about CRMs and integrating CRMs. And we could see a gap there, because a lot of people were saying, well, the CRM is good, but I get some broken journeys. It's expensive to integrate. I get maybe the integration is too shallow. All I get was basically just creating an opportunity in Salesforce from a contact form, and that was it. So we spotted that gap, and we decided to do something about it. The whole thing started maybe around Code Garden or just before that.
Okay. Yeah.
And then during the summer, I kind of created a version and I put it up onto our website. And we started basically using it for our own sales, and it's been working great. So that's how I know we got something that I can take out there.
Okay. So when you say you guys are using it, are you using it on just your own website? Is that what you're talking about, or are you using it on your clients' websites?
For the time being, it's live only on our website. So it is something that the current state of it is that I'm tidying up, and then after the tidying up, I'm going to put the kind of product layer around it. So I need to basically document the APIs, package it up, take care of licensing and the rest of it. So there is some work to do, and I'm talking about a hard launch stage of mid-January.
Okay.
We're getting very, very close, and there is lots of interest. I'm very, very happy about that.
Cool. Yeah. I can imagine there's lots of interest. So with that being said, maybe we should just jump in and do a screen share and start taking a look.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me fix that in. And hopefully, now we might be seeing you, but now we might be seeing Windows.
Yep.
Okay, because this thing doesn't time out. So Pipeline, it's a new section that sits on the back office of Umbraco. And when you first log in, you actually get to see the main areas, the main bits that Pipeline is made of. In these early version, we're taking care of base CRM modules and entities. So we have got opportunities which are linked to contacts, and contacts are linked into groups. An opportunity, think of it as kind of like a touch point. So basically somebody fills in a form, other CRMs call it a lead or a sale or something, which shows opportunities here. Also, when you first get into opportunities, you'll see that the opportunities are laid out here on a kind of Trello-like board. Sorry. These fields over here, so the lists in this board are configurable. So in this case, this is a standard leads, prospects, opportunity won and lost type of layout. But in some cases, if you use it, say, for support or for task management, this could say, to do, doing, done.
Okay, so it's totally customizable in terms of the workflow that our particular company would need. Absolutely,
absolutely that. If I open up one of the opportunities here, you will see that it's got a timeline. So this is a conversation that me as a Pipeline user have been having with this customer. You will see that this opportunity has got a value and a probability, and that's the adjusted value, which is the combined of the other, and a date which says when the opportunity is closing. And you can do things like mark it up with a color and for communication in between. Now, the idea with the timeline here is that you can capture and foster its conversion. So when you receive an inquiry form, it doesn't just stop there. It doesn't just get lost on somebody's email. Then people can basically continue working on it. So in this case, for example, if my customer says, "Can I place an order?" I can just say, "Yeah, just use the order form." And this being Umbraco and this being integrated with Umbraco, you have access to the media folder and everything like that. So you can choose to send them a file.
Okay. Yep.
And what you can do with this touch point is you can set what type it is. If it is a task, you can assign it to somebody internally. So I can ask my colleague to have a look at it.
Yep.
Otherwise, I can choose to send it via email. And when I press save on this one, you'll see that it says use the order form, and that has been sent by email to the user. So there is an entire track, there's an entire record of how the opportunity progressed.
Okay, nice.
Now let's go a little bit deeper into it, so you want more things. Now, as the opportunity here is made of is linked to a contact. In this case, a user called Alfred. And if I go inside and see this guy, you see that we store a bunch of information. This is the standard contact information for a contact. So you basically use this at this point as an address book. One thing that everybody pretty much asks for a CRM is to be able to have custom properties like this. And this was another area where integrating with Umbraco or making use of what Umbraco already gives me was a great thing. So the way that this works, if I go to the settings, there is a document type called Pipeline. And in here, in the generic properties, I can add more properties, say, for a contact or organizational pipeline. Pipeline being an opportunity. So if I was to add like a Facebook account here, and I set it to be a property of a contact, then back into Pipeline, and if I let's go back to Alfred, you see that you have got now a new property called Facebook account. And the good thing with this is that you can use any type of property that can be used in Umbraco. So anything from media pickers to content pickers to drop-down lists and all that kind of stuff. So I suppose that's one of the best things about building a business application in Umbraco. There is so many things that Umbraco gives you out of the box. So you have user management, member management, you have got content modeling, you have got a back office. In some ways, look at it this way, it's creating an application for within Umbraco. It's just like connecting dots.
Yep,
you know,
definitely.
that kind of thing. Yeah. One last thing, just to kind of complete the tour of Pipeline, the back office, is the groups. So this is where you get to group contacts into ad hoc groups. So in this case, I have got a group called Interested in Rings, and I'll show you why that is. And then you can also capture, you can add members to it from the customers. It can have its own notes, its own opportunities, all that kind of stuff. Basically, you treat the group as a unit, and you can, as a marketer, you can talk to them on a one-to-one basis. Sorry, on the group basis.
Yep.
Okay. Now, one last thing, one more thing to show you. The next thing to show you is probably how it can be integrated with Umbraco. Obviously, it's it goes into the app plugins. It's got some settings. It will have a DLL that you drop into. So it's going to be all nicely packaged up. But the way that you can make it work is pretty easy as well. So there's an API at the moment, like a pipeline service that you can use to hook up to your front end.
Yep.
So in this case, there is the most simple scenario is that you have a contact form on the website.
Yep.
And then I can type and speak. Now, before I submit that, I'll show you what happens on the back office on this one. So what's happening is that I have got an Umbraco form. So this is made with Umbraco forms, and I have created a custom workflow type.
Okay. Yeah.
So all you need to do to connect it up to your workflow type. So everything else here on the scope is what you would use to create a custom workflow type. Is this. So what you do over here, you just initiate the pipeline service.
Yep.
You grab the details, name, organization, email from the form. I mean, you can obviously put GUIDs in there, but I pick the numbers, and then you just call this create new pipeline service.create new, and that will create an opportunity at the back office based on this information. And you can use it from the forms. You can use it from your own custom forms or surface controllers or whatever it is. It's pretty straightforward.
Nice.
What this will do, after I submit that, and I go to the back office, it has created this new pipeline for me.
Yep.
And then that can find its way onward.
Okay, so in regards to that workflow, does say that this was obviously a lead, would the sales team, so to speak, one or more member of the sales team get an email, get a text? How would they get notified that something's ready to kind of act on? Yeah,
exactly. Well, for the time being, this thing that I just showed you, because it's hooked to the Umbraco forms, I will let the Umbraco forms do the emailing. There is no reason to kind of replicate that. So that will basically become part of the Umbraco forms workflow. However, the default notification system in Pipeline is a daily digest. So what happens is that every day, each member of the sales team or each member or each user that has got access to Pipeline will get an email with any new opportunities, any tasks that they need to that are upcoming, or any notifications on how they need to interact with the system.
Yep.
You touched on one important thing about the workflow. One of the things that I want to kind of put on as, I don't know if it's going to be on this first version, I think it's going to be the first thing on the roadmap, it's going to be something like an events API, something that basically you can hook onto and just say, when a new pipeline is created, do this.
Yep.
And that is fairly important for the marketing automation piece. So for example, one of the ways that this could work is when you have a contact and you save it and it finds that the subscribe to newsletter is ticked, you can just post that over to Campaign Monitor or MailChimp or whatever you're using. So Pipeline in that way can become the interface for a lot of your integrations. Yep. And that, I suppose, is one of the more ambitious targets for Pipeline.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. One more thing to show you. Next thing is that because this is integrated with Umbraco, integrated with the members area. So what I'll do is I'll go in as Fred, actually, what I think I have got. more content. So you log in, and then again, using the Pipeline API, you can use it in your secure areas to actually present some of the pipeline content to the user. So what you got over here is you have got two opportunities from user Fred. So one of them, so let's say new order, this one.
Yep.
So you see the content is over here. Now, the reason why this shows, and there are some safeguards here, is that this touch point over there are specified to be user specific. So if I wanted to kind of leave another message for Fred for the portal over here, say, any news on that, Fred? Whoops. Any news on hat? Whoops. Not used to using a laptop anymore. So what I could do, so what I will do here, instead of I can send it via email, so that will send the entire my message as an email. Yep. I can also say to specify share with the contact, save that, and that creates a new touch point there. And then when Fred refreshes, you will see that this is also part of their of the portal. So there are some good APIs, some easy to use APIs that you can then integrate it with the back office.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I'll show you the code for this really quickly.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how you just fetch a conversation, I suppose.
Yeah. So it's pretty much that. When you first get onto that activity page, what it's called, you initiate the pipeline service, get your current member, and then identify who your contact is. So we know to know who this guy is. This is what happens when you post something. But instead of that, this is the only call that you need here, which is pipeline service, get opportunities by contact. So that will give you all the different opportunities.
Yep.
And then
you're looping over, and then
you do another loop in each opportunity tasks. Now, task is a slightly awkward name in this version because it includes both tasks and touch points. I'm hoping to rename it, but you understand that it means all these nodes that you loop over. So that kind of gives you essentially this. After you submit a form, so you kind of go here. I will know next week. So when you do that, obviously, when you're sending a post, this happens. So if it is a post, you just basically say, try to get the pipeline ID, make sure there's something there, and then the API call is just pipeline service, create touch point. You send what the user sent out, the contact ID, the pipeline ID, and the subject, and this is to capture any new a new pipeline kind of down there, and that finds its way into the portal.
Nice.
So nice, easy to integrate with your portals, easy to create. There is also in Pipeline, there is a flag that basically says every time I have a new contact created from a form, also create a corresponding member. So a lot of my members over here have been created from Pipeline. Now, there needs to be a layer of security over here. So you don't just, a member gets created, but it's still not approved and they don't have access to the portal. So somebody needs to go and give it to them. But there are quite a few kind of conventions over there. As I said, this is something that you can switch off. Maybe the last thing to show you is something on content personalization, just to show you a use case on content personalization. So in this case, we have got groups. And I have, in the consumers groups, I have got a group of consumers who are interested in rings. Now, at the moment, this group doesn't really have anyone and doesn't have any contacts. But what our use case is that we want to pick any customer or any user that we can identify that is interested in rings, so is interested in this page, and we want to send them a message about a discount. Now, at this point, I can be logged out, so this is not tied into the portal. So what I'll do, I will select existing, and I know that Fred has been interested, and the reason why I know is because I received that that opportunity from them, and I'll add a new touch point over here. Say, hey, we have great Christmas discounts. So what I'll do is I'll also share that with the contact, so to make it public on the website. Save that then. Now, because this user Fred has logged in and came out, that left a trail, that left a cookie on their machine saying that saying who they are. It doesn't say that they are Fred or their email address or anything. It just identifies them with that pipeline ID. So next time they come over here, you can now see that because this user has this cookie, i.e. they have expressed an interest in rings, I can now go and personalize my page and send them specific content.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So these are just the 3 use cases I wanted to show you today. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, no. So if we go back to the dashboard or the back office of Umbraco.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So if we go to, reports. What is reports? We kind of...
that is probably going to break. Yes.
In progress.
Indeed. Reports is in progress. So when I was talking earlier about the roadmap, the Events API is probably the first thing I'm going to look at. But I do know that one of the main drivers for marketing automation efforts for CRMs is to be able to create reports, imports, and exports. This one over here will just basically give you my pipeline, so it will give you an export of all the pipelines by time.
Yep.
But this is me just basically playing with a report API. There is going to be a way for developers to create queries and then serve that into the reports. It's just even at the basic version, is something we'll have to kind of put on the first release. So that will definitely be the case.
Okay, nice. And obviously tasks, I presume, is something that someone else. Okay, yeah, cool. Tom next week.
Exactly. So when I have in here, Adam kind of says over here wants me to do something, and then call Nick, and it's a task, and it's sent to me, and it puts a due date of today.
Yep.
That's going to create a task, and that should appear on my task here, but we need to probably refresh this every time, next time I come in. So when I go in, I can say that this is done, and it will kind of change my its status, and it will show or not in my digest.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And so let's just skim through some other things. Settings. We kind of skimmed over that node in the tree. Yeah. So what can we configure?
For the time being, the things to configure is how the status is, so the workflow in the opportunities.
Okay, so kind of like the Trello.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's right. And then you can also have different types of them, and that will kind of bring different icons and kind of link to the colors over there. This is the customizable stuff, because every company will want their own. Same thing with groups. So that groups over here that creates these types. Yep. Now, organization. This is a tick box that when it's not there, it will hide this entire area completely, or put another, or more correctly, it will present or not contact details for groups. The scenario here I'm trying to capture is for business to business, where the unit of an opportunity might be, or even of the reporting, might be the organization or a company rather than a individual contact.
Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Similar thing with contacts at the moment is just a flag that says, if I do have a new contact, should I create an a corresponding Umbraco member, basically to facilitate the portal development being faster. Yep. And in the preferences at the moment, what we have got is preferences for the digest. So you get a digest, a daily or weekly digest. So that's email notifications every day. And then some instant notification, as you mentioned, as you asked me earlier, when a new pipeline or opportunity is created or a new touch point is added. And this is to capture things like the user basically responding to me on the front end.
Okay, nice. Yeah. I suppose a couple of things to kind of, before we wrap up. You talked about licensing earlier, so I presume this is going to be a commercial package from Umbraco?
The current, yes, and the reason for that is because it is a business level package. It's not a developer. It's not trying to solve a specific problem for developers. No. So it needs to evolve. Otherwise, it will just not go anywhere. In order for it to evolve, we have to be able to kind of put resources behind it. We have to put proper resources. So we also have to move our thinking from services to product development. We have to think in the same way that Umbraco HQ does, I suppose, about legacy, support, documentation, all that kind of stuff. For that to happen, we will make a commercial version of this. However, so it will be a commercial version with the pricing to be confirmed soon, but to be confirmed. Think along the lines of T-commerce, U-commerce, and all that kind of stuff. So it's that kind of pricing.
That pricing level. I presume then per domain, or is it per Umbraco install? How's it
per
work?
Umbraco install. The thing is that we do not, at this stage, we don't want to restrict it to either number of users or anything like that. It has to be per Umbraco install, because even if you have multiple domains, it would be unfair, I suppose, if not impractical, because it's a back office plugin to say that you're gonna restrict on domain. So it's gonna be per install, but, and this is what I'm hoping will make people happy, we will also release a community or free version. We will put a cap on either the number of contacts, opportunities, something like that. Basically, an incentive for people to move on to the commercial version when they're ready, if they do see the value. But a fully functional, otherwise fully functional free version will be made available.
No, very, very nice. Yeah. So I suppose the next question is obviously in regards to APIs, and you were talking about the services and things. Say, is there an opportunity for other Umbraco developers in the community to kind of add funccionality, or say, shall we say, bolt-on or add-on packages that sit on top of Pipeline?
I'm not sure about on top of, but it might be sideways too.
Yeah, sorry, sideways. So it helps. I don't know. Maybe I create a package that allows me to get a text notification every time something happens in Pipeline in regards to those event hooks. Exactly.
So those event hooks I mentioned earlier will be the primary way that you can, the developers can customize the can customize Pipeline itself. So we'll try to make the events API, the events hooks, as comprehensive as possible. So you want to send a text message where a new opportunity is created, that's a good one. You want to push it on to Salesforce, because in many cases, Pipeline might be a bridge CRM. I mean, its ambition is never to be as comprehensive, if you like, as Salesforce. Say, you know, its power is that it is a CRM that lives, that is moved in with your CMS. So that tight integration is its unique selling point. So you might want to push on stuff over to other CRMs. You might want to do different contact points. You might even want to do more automated emailing. So when somebody sends you a pipeline, you want to send them back an instant thank you for your
message.
For your message. You might want to say somebody has created an account, but they have been inactive for a month. So trigger that. So 30 days later, send them a notification email. Hey, you haven't been on the site for 30 days. Can we do something for you?
No, very, very nice. It looks all very, very promising. So it seems like you're close. It seems like you're 80-90% there. So that January kind of goal or release is looks like it's definitely going to happen. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, and we are extremely excited about that. Absolutely. Warren, shall I take the screen sharing off?
Yeah. Sorry, I think I'm just going to double check there's no more questions just floating in. I'm just taking a very quick look. No, I think that's actually it. I think your demo was actually quite comprehensive in terms of what Pipeline is and kind of how we can start using a CRM in many different ways, be it a kind of support desk or a typical kind of sales led CRM, or
we've been hearing things about using it for the single customer view, storing a lot of information about the customer. And I know the member section can be customized, but this will give you the contact points and the tracking of what they are. And also an interesting use case that came from one of our customers was about basket abandonment. So what you have is that at the first step of a basket, you create an opportunity, it's anonymous. On the second one, you capture the name and you leave it there. Now, they're going to use it mostly for analytics purposes to see where and how the basket
drops off.
Absolutely. And then in some cases, if the customer has gone all the way to payment, but they have stopped there, they want to know, they might just need a nudge, they might need a hand. It might
it's like, it was a problem with your card that day.
Exactly. And might can pick up, can we help you? That kind of thing. It's interesting use cases are coming up.
Yeah, I suppose like every business has their own different workflows, and with Pipeline being customizable, it seems like it is going to be adapt and fit into a lot of kind of business needs. Yeah,
that's what we're trying to do.
Awesome. Thank you for spending the time with me today, Theo. And,
thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
No problem. And we'll speak soon.
Yep. Take care.
Excellent. Thanks, Theo. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.